It's Monday and the beginning of the week. I'm on a countdown. I honestly don't know how many more days I have left until school. I just try not to count the days, but I know it's going to be probably about 3.5, 4 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, maybe. Could be 3 weeks, but it's probably about 4 weeks. So I'm on a countdown. This is pretty exciting. The kiddos were wrapping things up and the school year is coming to an end. But Thursday is my mom's birthday, and I decided to go ahead and to take off Thursday. Yes. If you're a teacher, let me know if you are hesitant to take days off when your kiddos are actually in the classroom. I am guilty. I'm guilty of that. This year, the only time that I have been out is when I had COVID. If you don't know, I had COVID in February and I had to be out for 5 days. It's mandatory in my district. If you are COVID positive, you have to be out. As a teacher, I had to be out for 5 days. And so I was out, but I needed to be out, obviously, because I was recovering and ill, and then I had a loved one that got COVID as well, and then they were in the hospital. So I ended up being out to take care of myself and to also be there for my loved one who got ill as well. But that's the only time I've been out. Now, I've taken off when we've had teacher work days. I went ahead and took off a couple of teacher work days. But in terms of with the kiddos in the classroom, I have not been out. Thursday will be my first day out for a non-emergency. The COVID piece had to happen. But yeah, and I was kind of feeling some kind of way. I was kind of like, do I want to take off? I don't want to take off because I still want learning to happen. I also know that when I'm out, my students, they're still babies, they're still young, and they're apprehensive to come into the classroom. They cry a lot. My colleague, her room is connected to my room, and she has to come in and kind of calm some of the kids down if I'm not here. At least that's what happened when I was out for COVID. So I was kind of reluctant to be out, and I was thinking about it, but you know what? I said, I'm going to go ahead and take off. That's what those days, those sick days, and those personal days are for. So y'all, I did it. I went ahead and I took off. But if you know, you know, right? It takes more work. It seems like it takes more work to be out of the classroom for a teacher than it is just to stay in and teach, because I'm getting ready to get my sub plans together and I'm kind of dreading it. I may not even do it today on Monday. I may just wait and try to do it tomorrow, because it's just getting everything set up for the sub can be very tedious and time consuming. I mean, honestly, if you know, you know. If you're a teacher, you know, it's just like, you know what, let me just be here. But I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off because it's important for me to spend time with my mom. She has a couple places that she wants to go, and we want to treat her to a couple places as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take off. Now, in the past, at my school, first of all, sub coverage is hard to find. Please let me know if your school is having trouble finding sub coverage, because I think it's across, states, it's across the country that subs are hard to find. And thank goodness though, I'm going to have the sub who subbed my classroom when I had COVID. I have her phone number, her personal number, but I called her. And even though we have now in place a third party that's in place to fill those sub roles or those sub positions. Before, our principal secretary, we would just email her and submit the paperwork to be off. But now we have a third party that's in place, and I'm not exactly sure how all of it works, but I called the sub that I wanted and I talked to the principal secretary to connect them two together, and my principal secretary is going in the system and making it happen so I can get the retired teacher to be my sub so that learning can still take place in my classroom. Now, y'all, let me tell you, the retired teacher, she doesn't play. She's like old school. And my kids, they do really well with her, and learning really takes place in the classroom. So I'm really feeling fortunate that she was available and that she'll be here in my class. And plus my kids know her because she had my class for, I want to say 4 out of the 5 days. So it could have been all 5 days when I was actually out with COVID. So learning still would take place while I'm out, having fun, the big fun. Now, just like about 2 years ago, when a teacher was out, at least in my school, when my colleagues were out, y'all, they would split that class. Some of y'all probably saying they still split the class because they couldn't find sub coverage. And what that means is they would take those students, those little bodies, in that teacher's classroom, and they would split them up and say, okay, Shay, you have 6 kids or 7 kids that are going to be added to your classroom for the day or for the length of time that the teacher is out, that they can't find a sub for. So, I don't even have the space to have another 6 or 7 more kids, let alone just the capacity. I mean, I did it, of course, but it was exhausting to try to teach an additional 6 or 7 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds in the course of a day. I would just be exhausted. So I'm glad that we've kind of moved away from that model. And my coworker was out though the other day, and they split her class, to be honest with you. But they were able to find a sub to come in half a day. It's like the sub that they had to come in had an emergency, and so that sub couldn't come, and they were able to get another sub. So for half a day I had an extra 7 kids, I think, in my classroom, and I was like, but we got work done, but I was exhausted. So I'm really glad that we're not splitting kids and splitting students when teachers are out as much, at least not in my school or in my district, not as much as we have done in the past. I'll take you along with me on tomorrow while I work on those sub plans. We'll see how long it's going to take for me to complete them. Y'all, I remember one time I was out, I had to go to the doctor, right? I had to go to, I had to have some type of doctor's appointment. I was actually at the hospital getting some tests run. I'm getting a phone call from the registrar, and they're like, you didn't submit your attendance for your class this morning. And I was like, answering the phone like, hello. And I was just like, yes, I'm off today. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, y'all, come on, y'all. So it's just so funny. It's like I said, sometimes it's just more trouble to be off than it is just to work it. But I'm going to be off. I'm going to be off, and I'm going to have fun with mom, the big fun with mom. And I'm going to take you along that journey. I'm going to be honest with you. In the past, and I'm so glad I don't think like this anymore. I'm so glad that my mindset has changed. But I actually used to get upset when my coworkers would be out, not for emergency purposes, but when they would be out just going on, I don't know, the ski trips, or just, going out and just having fun and not being out because it's an emergency. When we used to split the classes, when they would take off, I would be mad because I'm saying, oh my gosh, they know that they're going to split the classes, and they know that I'm going to end up with their kiddos in my classroom, and it's just going to be taxing for me. I'm so glad that I don't think like that anymore, because I said, you know what? We all deserve, and I'm just going to say this, we deserve to be off if we feel like we need to be off or we want to be off. There shouldn't be any pressure, whether it be external or even pressure that I'm putting on myself to be in this classroom when I feel like I need to be off. I had to be off because I had COVID, right? They were like, it's mandatory. Well, you know what? A couple of years ago, I just decided, why am I getting mad at my colleagues? Low-key mad, like not in their face mad, but low-key mad. Why am I getting mad when they're out having a blast and having fun? And just because we don't have sub coverage, it's not their fault, and it's not my fault. It's the fault of our district. It's meaning that they need to make being a sub more appealing, maybe increase the rate for being a sub so that we can get more subs in. They need to maybe change the requirements for being a sub, which is what they did in my district in order to attract more subs. That's why we have more subs now. So I'm so glad. I just wanted to put this sidebar in this video, and I just wanted to state it, that a lot of times I realize I'm getting mad at them, but I shouldn't be getting mad at them. I should be getting mad at my district or the system, right, that's in place, that's failing us and causing us to not want to take off, or not, feel like we can't take off, because those days that we acquire and that we accrue are for us. So I just wanted to throw that in, that I'm so glad a couple years ago, probably like about 3 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago. So not so long ago, but my mindset changed about being off. And I'm slowly but surely saying, you know what, on special occasions or during special times, let me go ahead and take off and enjoy, because I have a lot of sick days. I have a lot of personal days that have been accrued because I don't take them. And I'm like, let me go ahead and take and enjoy. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Maybe, some of you are wrestling with that as well. And maybe this will help with maybe shifting or changing your mind about it. Not getting mad at your colleagues, but maybe getting mad at the systems that are in place that are keeping us kind of chained to our classrooms, right? Just think about it. Just think about that. It is Tuesday and I finished my lesson plans for the sub. I hunkered down and I went ahead and did it. I found that I actually had a template already saved in my Word document file. So I was able to just go in and to kind of just retype and change out a couple of things and print it out. But I just wanted to show it to you. Also, my little kiddos are so cute. Today at recess, they picked some weeds and gave me some kind of dead flowers off of the ground again today. And they were like, I just love you so much. I love you. And I said, okay, I love you too, but no more flowers. You all are just spoiling me. No more flowers. And so they're like, okay. So I wanted to show you those flowers as well. They are just the cutest little kiddos. So here is my sub binder. It has my name and it says substitute binder. And then when you open up, it just says hi there, and it gives them a nice little greeting. Thank you for being in my class. It talks about the different forms, and yes, and then again it says thanks again for subbing my class. And then it just has the school information, so the staff information, our principal information, different numbers to call. So this is my schedule. It's not quite 100% accurate, but that's my schedule. And then it just goes kind of into my lesson plans. And I just kind of type this up. It just talks about reading. I'm going to have some students write their spelling words 3 times in their journal. I'm going to have them also draw a picture, use them in a sentence, or draw a picture to match. It shows the time for lunch, recess, all the important things, the dismissal. I actually here have the names of the students and how they're dismissed, meaning how they're going home at the end of the day. It talks about my classroom rules, the behavior management. It says, give them a verbal warning, to leave a note for me also. And then this is the note. And the note says, how did the day go? And then it just goes on for them to tell me, what was happening with my different kiddos. And then these are my emergency plans. Like if I'm out on an emergency, then in the back are my emergency plans. So all in all, this is a folder that I use in order to, I just go ahead and leave all the information in there in this binder for the sub. And also I will have the worksheets kind of clipped together in one big clip. So any work that students need to actually do, just in terms of any worksheets or even the book that I'm going to have the substitute reread to my students, all of that will be clipped together, and so it'll be easily accessible. So everything will be right there sitting on top of the binder. I have the binder open to the note that I have already prepared, and everything will be there at a glance. Now let me lean in, because this is what I think I'm going to do, y'all. I actually talked to my team, my kindergarten team, and I let them know that really I wanted to also take off on Friday, that I only took off on Thursday. And I know it's just me being, extra. And so I said to them, I want to take off on Friday. And they were like, absolutely, why are you not taking off on Friday? So I went ahead and contacted the sub, the one that's coming to my class on Thursday. She was like, absolutely. So tomorrow, which is Wednesday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to submit the request to also be off on Friday. And once that's approved, if it's approved, which I should know right away, I'm going to do sub plans for Friday as well. I do have a student whose birthday is Friday. The parent hasn't contacted me yet for a possible party. So I was kind of hesitant, because I said, well, that student's going to have a birthday and I really wanted to be here to help them celebrate. But y'all, I think I'm going to go ahead and take off Friday as well. I will let you know what happens with that. I'll let you know what happens with that. It is the end of the year. Testing is done. We're doing a lot of review. Yes, and that math is not review. It's prepping them for first grade. Still tears, with that math. I showed you that from my last video. And now we're working on the number line. And now we're working on them hopping forward and hopping backwards for addition and subtraction. They're getting addition and subtraction all turned around. But again, they don't have to master that skill. It's just something that we can introduce to them. My colleagues were like, we were all like, So anyway, but yeah, so I'll keep you posted and let you know if I'm also going to take off on Friday as well. Also, we ordered some graduation items for our kiddos. Look at these glasses. These glasses are so cute. And this bag and this picture frame. Yes, we took a picture of our kiddos with a cap and gown with the backdrop as well. And so we're going to surprise our parents with giving them, and our students really, with giving them these lovely gifts. But yeah, look at these. Aren't they just the cutest? I just love it. The end of the year is here. It really is here. It's official. The end of the year, the end of the school year is here. Yay! Today is Wednesday, and I wanted to show you the flowers that my students picked for me. Really kind of picked them off the ground for me. They fell off of a tree, and some of these are kind of like little weeds. But these are the flowers and the little weeds that my students picked for me on today. I had to tell them, please, thank you, but please stop. No more. You've given me so much. I just appreciate it so much. So I went ahead and talked to the principal secretary. She said it was no problem for me to be off on Friday. I went ahead and talked to the sub. She said absolutely she can take my class on Thursday and Friday. Yes, so I will be off on Friday as well. I went ahead and did it, and I feel so great about it. My colleague was like, absolutely, we're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. I don't know. I'm like a mother hen and mother bird, just like over her kiddos. And I'm just like, oh, I just want them to have so much learning. And even at the end of the school year, I just want them to continue to be having rigorous assignments and things like that. Y'all, I'm about to be off. So yes, that's exciting.